There was some respite for me last week when we looked at the best footballer from every country in South America, since there were only 11 nations, but this week's video has certainly made amends for that. There are 56 countries, and as such 56 players, who feature for the continent of Africa, as we continue our look at the best footballer from every country on Earth. Given the sheer number of entries here then, we've gone with a slightly different format, one in which we won't go into detail on every player, so this video isn't ridiculously long. As a continent, Africa is incredibly passionate about football, but no African nation has ever won the World Cup. Cameroon reached the World Cup quarterfinals in 1990, a feat which has since been matched by Senegal in 2002 and Ghana in 2010, but never exceeded, with no African sides getting beyond the group stages in Russia a few months ago. As always, the criteria is simple. The nations included are those affiliated with the Confederation of African Football. The list is based purely on current ability, and to be eligible, the player must have either been capped at least once by the nation in question, and no other nation since, or have been born in the country and never capped by any other nation. To clarify, players born in an African country who chose to play for a non-African nation are not eligible. Also, some of the nation's players are pretty obscure, so apologies in advance if we lack images for some. Here is the best footballer from every country in Africa. Algeria, Riyad Mahrez. Going in alphabetical order, we make a strong start to this 7. From Nabil Bentaleb to Yassin Brahimi, Algeria have a few decent players, especially in midfield areas. Without doubt their star man is Riyad Mahrez though, who ranks among the best players from the entire continent. A Premier League title winner at Leicester City, and now with the reigning champions Manchester City, the 27-year-old wineman has an abundance of flair and he's a real danger when he cuts inside onto his favoured left foot. Angola, BASTOS. Born in the Angolan capital of Luanda and capped 37 times by his country, 26-year-old centre-back BASTOS is undoubtedly Angola's finest footballer in our eyes. A really powerful and uncompromising defender, BASTOS made his name in Europe with Rostov, and he now plays for Lazio in Serie A. Benin, Steve Mounier. A familiar face to fans of the Premier League, Huddersfield Town made Steve Mounier their club record signing an £11.5 million deal from Montpellier following their promotion from the Championship. Capped 7 times by Benin, Mounier scored a respectable 9 goals last season, but is yet to find the back of the net this term in a far from prolific Huddersfield side. Botswana, MOGAKOLODI and NGELE. Burkina Faso, Bertrand Traoré. Comfortably the best footballer from Burkina Faso, Bertrand Traoré has already won 47 caps for the nation of his birth at the age of 23, and he looks sure to become their most capped player of all time at some stage. A quick and versatile forward who is really good on the ball, Traoré made a big impression whilst out on loan from Chelsea with both Vitesse and Ajax. Lyon worked wonders to sign him for only £8.8 million, and his 4 goals in 7 games so far this season suggest that the Blues exercising their buyback clause at some stage isn't totally unlikely. Burundi, GAEL BIGIRIMANA. A product of the Coventry City Academy, GAEL BIGIRIMANA was born in Burundi but arrived in the United Kingdom as a refugee at the age of 11. He went on to appear for England's under-20s whilst contracted to Newcastle United, but the 24-year-old central midfielder who now plays for Motherwell has since been capped by his native Burundi. Cameroon, Vincent ABOUBAKAR. Cameroon have a pretty good production line when it comes to centre forwards, and we think their best player right now is Vincent ABOUBAKAR. A quick and strong frontman with intelligent movement and a smart finish, ABOUBAKAR has been with Porto since 2014, bagging 56 goals in 112 games for the club. Now aged 26, ABOUBAKAR made Cameroon's squad for the 2010 World Cup, aged only 18, and he has since scored 20 goals from 65 caps for the national team. Cape Verde, Zé Luiz. Despite being one of the smallest nations in Africa, Cape Verde are far from being among the worst teams. In fact, they have a handful of decent players. Zé Luiz is the pick of the bunch, the selfless Spartak Moscow forward who is industrious, creative, and good on the ball. The Central African Republic, CEDRIC YAMBERE. Chad, CASIMIR NINGA. Comoros, FARDOU Ben NABOUHANE. DR Congo, CEDRIC BAKAMBU. Currently linked heavily with the move to Tottenham Hotspur, CEDRIC BAKAMBU is said to be the most expensive of all the Chinese Super League's imports, setting Beijing Sinobo Guan back a reported £65 million. A centre forward with searing pace, BAKAMBU loves to get in behind defenders, and he has scored 16 goals in 15 games since heading to China. Djibouti, Ismail Ahmed Kadar Hassan. Egypt, Mohamed Salah. Without doubt Africa's finest footballer in the 2017-18 season, Mohamed Salah scored 44 goals in 52 games in his debut season at Liverpool, and he is one of only 2 African players nominated for the 2018 Ballon d'Or. A hero in Egypt, the former Roman man has scored 38 goals from 61 caps for his country, including the strike which took them to the 2018 World Cup. Equatorial Guinea, Carlos Bejarano. We'll expand on this one since it was the first really tight call. The 2 candidates were America de Cali goalkeeper Carlos Bejarano and Huesca defender Carlos Akapo. Neither player was born in Equatorial Guinea, Bejarano having been born in Colombia and Akapo in Spain, but in the end, we've just gone for Bejarano, whose 2 caps for Equatorial Guinea didn't actually comply with FIFA rules. Eritrea, Henok Goitom. Ethiopia, Gaetano Kabedi. Gabon, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Probably the most obvious pick from the entire continent of Africa, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is not only Gabon's best current player, but also the nation's greatest player of all time. He has scored 24 goals from 58 caps for his country, whom he captains, and the pacey former Dortmund striker has bagged 16 goals in 23 games since signing for Arsenal last January. Gambia, Steve. Right, we'd best expand on this one, otherwise you might think I'm joking. Real name Boubacar Travali, but better known as Steve. Steve is the best player from Gambia in our eyes. A skillful and versatile footballer who has been scoring prolifically in China since 2015, Steve is currently on loan at Guizhou Hengfeng. Ghana, Kwadwo Asamoah. From Schalke loanee Baba Rahman to Atletico Madrid enforcer Thomas Partey, there were a few candidates from Ghana. Just edging in front of the competition for us though is recent Inter Milan recruit Kwadwo Asamoah. Brought to the San Siro from Juventus, Asamoah is versatile and hard-working, and he has won 69 caps for his country to date. Guinea, Naby Keita. For our money, the best midfielder from Africa in world football right now, our automatic pick for Guinea is Naby Keita. A tireless central midfielder with good technique, Keita brings a real injection of energy and impetus to a team's midfield, and that's why Jurgen Klopp was so desperate to bring him to Anfield. Aged 23, he has already won 28 caps for his country. Guinea-Bissau, Pele. Ivory Coast, Wilfried Zaha. Crystal Palace star Wilfried Zaha was born in the Ivory Coast but moved to England at the age of 4. He came through the youth ranks at Selhurst Park before being capped by England and signed by Alex Ferguson at Manchester United. Things didn't work out with either though, and the fleet-footed forward is now back at Palace and representing the nation of his birth on the international stage. Kenya, Victor Wanyama. Ranked 107th in FIFA's world rankings, Kenya aren't blessed with a plethora of outstanding talent. Victor Wanyama is head and shoulders above any of his fellow countrymen, the tough-tackling defensive midfielder having been with Tottenham since 2016. Lesotho, Sonny Jane. Liberia, William Jabor. No, it's not still George Weah, although he did actually turn out for Liberia in a friendly only last month, age 51. William Jabor gets the nod for Liberia from us though, the 26-year-old Moroccan-based forward having bagged 10 goals from 11 caps for his country to date. Libya, Ahmed Ben Ali. Madagascar, Anise Abel. Malawi, Gabadinho Mango. Mali, Moussa Marega. A strike partner of Vincent Aboubakar's at Porto, Moussa Marega has also been prolific for the Portuguese Giants recently. Marega, who can play as either a centre forward or as a right winger, is quick and clinical, and he scored 23 goals last season, which was his first full campaign with the club. Somewhat surprisingly, he has only scored twice from 16 caps for Mali. Mauritania, Abdul Bar. Mauritius, Kevin Brew. Followers of the championship may well be familiar with Mauritius' star Kevin Brew, since he recently spent 4 years with Ipswich Town. The 29-year-old was born in Paris, but he has been capped 15 times by the nation of both his parents, and now plays in the Cypriot First Division. Morocco, Hakim Ziyech. One of only a few inclusions in this list that took some real consideration, Morocco have some real talent at their disposal, but their 2 finest players are Hakim Ziyech and Mehdi Benatia. The last of those 2, Benatia, currently plays for Juventus, having previously turned out for the likes of Roma and Bayern Munich, so he has greater pedigree. We're still backing Ziyech though, despite the midfielder only having starred in the Netherlands, since we think he's a really gifted playmaker who will prove himself at the highest level at some point. Mozambique, Mexer. Arguably two of Portugal's three greatest players of all time were born in Mozambique, so the country definitely has the potential to produce quality players. The pick of the bunch right now is Mexer, an athletic 6'2" centre-back who is pretty reliable in defence. Capped 42 times by his country, Mexer has been with Rennes in Ligue 1 since 2014. Namibia. Ryan Nyambe. The only uncapped player in this video I suspect, Ryan Nyambe was born in Namibia, and having never been capped by any other nation, he qualifies for this list. A quick, industrious and versatile defender, Nyambe is only 20, and he has spent his entire career to date with Blackburn Rovers. Niger. Amadou Moutari. Nigeria. Victor Moses. This was a tricky one to be fair. We considered everyone from Wilfred Ndidi to John Obi Mikel, Odion Ighalo, Ahmed Musa, Kelechi Iheanacho, Alex Iwobi, and even Moses Simon, who I have been a big fan of since his days at Trenton. Mikel may well be the most talented, Ighalo the most prolific, and Iwobi have the most potential, but in the end, we just edged towards Victor Moses. The former Wigan Athletic wideman was excellent as a wingback under Antonio Conte, and he has been capped 37 times by the most populous nation in Africa. Republic of Congo, Thivi Bafuma. Born in France but capped 28 times by Congo, Thivi Bafuma is a pacey wideman who loves to take on defenders. Capable of playing on either flank or through the middle, the former West Bromwich Albion loanee has spent the last year or so playing in Turkey, currently starring for Super League New Boys and Karagaju. Rwanda, Solomon Nirasiraki. Reunion, Reza Suleiman. Senegal, Sadio Mane. The only other African to be nominated for the 2018 Ballon d'Or, along with Mohamed Salah, is the Egyptian's Liverpool teammate Sadio Mane. Mane made his name in Europe with an exceptional goal-scoring record at Red Bull Salzburg before signing for Southampton. He has been with Liverpool since 2016, where his pace, directness, and technique have made him a vital part of a formidable front three. He just beats Kalidou Koulibaly to Senegal's top spot. Seychelles, Vincent Euphrase. Sierra Leone, Kai Kamara. A comfortable pick for Sierra Leone in our eyes, Kai Kamara is one of only 10 players to have scored more than 100 MLS goals. The 34-year-old frontman is strong, skillful, and a real menace in the air. Kamara scored 14 goals in 22 starts for the Vancouver Whitecaps in 2018. Somalia, Cisse Adenabshir. Somalia are the lowest ranked African nation in the FIFA World Rankings, coming in at position number 206, just one place off the bottom. Being the best footballer from Somalia then is a bit like being the most talented person on the X Factor. Anyhow, that title goes to Cisse Adenabshir, a well-travelled centre-back who has been playing in Norway since 2006. South Africa, Percy Tau. We have to expand on South Africa, firstly because it's a pretty debatable inclusion, and secondly because we get more views from South Africa than any other African nation. Although he missed a couple of good chances in his most recent outing, we think Tau is Bafana Bafana's best player right now. Contracted to Brighton, but on loan in Belgium, the 24-year-old has scored 6 goals from 14 caps to date. South Sudan, Farid Najib. Sudan, Mohamed Ahmed Bashir. Swaziland, Tony Sebeds. Sao Tome and Principe, Luis Leal. A pacey Portuguese-born forward with a good right foot, Luis Leal is a talented journeyman currently starring for Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. Formerly of Estoril in Portugal, Leal has scored 3 goals from 10 caps for Sao Tome and Principe. Tanzania, Mbwana Samata. Tanzania's outstanding footballer is Mbwana Samata, who has scored 16 goals from 44 caps for his country at the age of 25. A quick, physical centre-forward who was named as the best player in Africa in 2015, Samata now plays for Genk in Belgium. Togo, Emmanuel Adebayor. Togo's all-time leading goalscorer and still their best player in our eyes, Emmanuel Adebayor has got back among the goals since heading to Turkey in January 2017. The former Arsenal and Man City forward was named as the African Footballer of the Year in 2008, and he has scored 24 goals in 53 games since joining Istanbul Başakşehir. Tunisia, Wabi Kazri. Tunisia are the highest ranked African nation in FIFA's world rankings, but they're not blessed with a myriad of individually brilliant players. Wabi Kazri is their talisman and the player they look to for that little bit of inspiration, the former Sunderland man being versatile, technical, and a real threat from set pieces. He now plays for Saint Etienne in Ligue 1. Uganda, Farouk Mia. Zambia, Stopilla Sunzu. A powerful footballer capable of playing as either a centre-back or defensive midfielder, Stopilla Sunzu plays for Mets in Ligue 1, and we think he is the best footballer from Zambia. Zanzibar, Kamas Mutchakamas. Zimbabwe, Kamabilia. A talented attacking midfielder who can also deputise as a central midfielder or as a striker, Kamabilia is undoubtedly Zimbabwe's best player in our eyes. The 28-year-old has been playing and scoring regularly in South Africa since 2010, and he recently joined the Kaizer Chiefs. So that's it for our Not Actually a 7. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC7s. You can also follow us on Twitter at HITC7s.